alert, 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 alert. Spoiler alert for Star Wars.
Yes, contains a lot of spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, stop now, watch something else. Hi, I'm Donathan.
And I'm Kelly.
And we are Craving Cinematics. Well, we had done our review of The Last Jedi. We went to see it. We went to a very early screening of it. Highly anticipated. Been anticipating this movie for 2 years. A lot of speculation. A lot of different things going on. Especially since the Force Awakens came out. I, in particular, had been really looking forward to this movie. Well, if you've watched the review, you can see that both Kelly and I weren't exactly enthused after coming out of the theater. And there are many reasons.
Well, actually, coming out of the theater, we were at first very confused. And we did talk with a couple of younger kids. I mean, they were probably, late teens, very early 20s. Because we thought maybe it's a generational thing with us.
Yeah.
We're a little bit older. And so we said, let's pull these kids aside and see what they thought. And they were just as confused and disappointed in what they saw as we were. So we kind of felt like we were a little bit on the right track. Yeah. But then again, it's our opinion. Right. And just keep that in mind. This is completely our opinions. You are more than free and welcome to have your own opinion, of course.
All right. Now, these young people is Tyler
and Jesslyn.
And they were definitely hardcore fans. I mean,
oh, yeah. Jesslyn was dressed as Leia, Princess Leia. And Tyler was dressed as Han Solo.
Yeah. So it was full cosplay. And it was really exciting because there were quite a few cosplay people there. And getting into this, could not wait for the movie to start, see that opening crawl. Now, what we're going to do, and this is just a table talk, a discussion, as to what we feel was wrong with the movie and what was right. I mean, what was good about it. And I'm going to let Kelly start on this one.
Oh, okay. All right, well, the first thing that comes off the top of my mind that really bothered me was the way that Luke reacted when he heard that Han Solo had died. Now, Disney has already said that all previous movies, devil may care with them. Really. I mean, that's basically... They said, we're not going to take it into play. And they didn't. Han Solo and Luke Skywalker were just two, of the best friends. They had each other's back. They had a love-hate relationship. They, trusted each other with their lives, but there was always a little bit of distrust. But they loved each other. They were there for one another. Every single time it counted. And Luke's reaction when he found out that Han died was this. Okay, let's go on to something else now. I mean, they just did not even give the emotion any credence whatsoever. And that just really, really bothered me. And it kind of set the whole tone for the rest of the movie for me. And I know it's something that you're going to bring up, but I'm going to touch on it. You'll go deeper into it. When Rey hands Luke his lightsaber, the symbol, the embodiment of the Jedi's force, the Jedi's power, their weapon, something that Luke, for his entire life, thought of holding. Luke wanted to be a Jedi forever. Granted, yeah, he evidently had some problems there towards the end that we don't really see much about, and started questioning things. But what really bothered me is Rey has gone through all this to bring Luke the lightsaber, hands it to him. He looks at it. There's no emotion like, oh, wow, you found my lightsaber. Or, oh, that thing that causes problems. Or just nothing. He looks at it and just throws it over the cliff. What the hell? That just bothered me. Okay. I'm going to put it this way. All throughout this movie, I felt there was a bunch of just FUs to the fans of Star Wars. I am not a mega fan. I've not missed one movie. I won't miss any movies. Even 9 coming up, I won't miss them. I enjoy them. But this movie was just a big middle finger to anyone who has any positive, loving feelings towards this franchise, in my opinion. And those are 2 just middle fingers right there. And I could go on and make this video, 5 days worth of just disappointment. But I'm going to let Donathan, who is a super fan and knows backstories and knows the books and so on and so on, and comment on some things. And I'll throw in there.
All right.
So go ahead.
Okay, I want to take this from a little bit different perspective. Not from a storyline perspective so much, but more from a filmmaker's point of view. Because when we left, as Kelly said, we felt confused. A lot of people did. And just from what we've seen on the internet so far, you've got this dichotomy going on, to where you have people who absolutely love it, and then you have those people who absolutely hate it. And I mean, this right down the middle. Most people that we've talked to or have seen on the internet and them giving their reviews and stuff experienced the same thing that we did, coming out as like really confused as to what's going on. And I thought, and it took us a couple of days to really think through this.
We had to mull it through.
Yeah. And now we haven't seen it a second time yet. And I think, to be honest, it is deserving to see a second time to really see what and pinpoint what's going on. Because I'm sure there are a lot of details that we missed. However, I'm going to look at this from a filmmaker's point of view. Now, The Force Awakens is the first Star Wars movie since the prequels. I mean, well over 10 years. And everyone is excited about J.J. Abrams directing this thing. They brought in the writer from Empire Strikes Back. They worked together on the script. And it was a good script. It's a good story. Not everybody liked it as much as the original. Of course, it's really hard to top the originals anyway. Because, the people who are going back to watch it are really, our age versus the little kids going, because we saw the movies when we were kids. And so that leaves an impression. With that said, The Force Awakens came out and it set up several major plot points in it. And this is from a filmmaker's point of view. If you go back and you look at Rey's lineage and how it developed her character. She even went as far as counting down the days where she was living, scratching little line marks on the wall, counting the days to when her parents would return. There was a lot of buildup around that. Then you have the introduction of Snoke, this basic supervillain that apparently has all this power, and the buildup with him going throughout The Force Awakens, and how he was able to turn Ben Solo into Kylo. So you go on, and then there are these other things. As she mentioned, the lightsaber. there was a big buildup with the lightsaber. The lightsaber through the Force called out to Rey. Rey picked up the lightsaber, and she had all of these visions, including the lightsaber battle between Luke and Darth Vader in Cloud City. So you had all of these buildups, these major plot points that were going to be explored in Episode 8.
And good buildups.
Good buildups.
I mean, well developed.
Right. And keep in mind, Poe Dameron, that character was originally slated to be killed off in Episode 7. But they decided, no, we're going to give him a little bit more. Then there was the buildup of Finn, the first stormtrooper to actually turn and go to the Resistance. And looking at his past and them starting to explore where he came from, being captured as a child and going through this training with, and then ended up under Phasma's command.
And they've got this stupid side story. Oh, sorry.
That's all right. So, from a filmmaker's point of view, you have several major buildups to go into the next movie. Now, these are plot points. Then we get into Episode 8. Every one of these plot points were turned into plot devices. Let's start with the lightsaber. Kelly mentioned just nonchalantly flipping over his shoulder and throwing it away. That would be fine if there was any kind of time between the two movies. In other words, in the story, just like in the original trilogy, there was usually a couple of years in between each movie. Here wasn't the case. If you remember, Episode 7 ended up with Rey standing before Luke, handing him the lightsaber. Where do we pick up with them in Episode 9? The same point. So therefore, the build-up with the lightsaber is still very much valid. And for Luke just to toss it over his shoulder nonchalantly like it doesn't make any difference.
The weapon that has saved his life many times.
Yeah, but remember, this is also the weapon that called out to Rey.
And called out to Rey.
All of that buildup just went right out the window. That was a shock. You mean everything that we speculated about and everything that we looked into from Episode 7 was for nothing.
Meant nothing.
Meant nothing.
Big flip off.
Then we get to the other plot points, such let's take Snoke. Snoke is supposed to be this big bad villain, right? A very strong villain. We even get that in the scenes where Kylo starts to stand up to him a little bit, and Snoke just tosses him around the room, slams him to his knees, and says, you don't do that. He also does the same thing with Rey. And I mean, even to the point to where you have what they're now calling the Force Skype, where Kylo and Rey were talking to one another through the Force to the point where physical matter was being transported. When they were talking and it was raining where Rey was, and then Kylo coming back and he had rain on his face. So throughout all that, and then you get to the scene with Snoke, and Snoke says, I planned all of this. I'm the one who caused you two to talk to one another through the Force. It was my plan to get you here. It was the same kind of setup that Sidious had with Luke Skywalker, having Darth Vader bring Luke Skywalker there. Sidious had all of that planned. Well, the same here for Snoke. He had all of this planned. Everything was looking really well. All of a sudden, you're telling me that Snoke gets killed because he fell for a Jedi mind trick? Come on, Luke couldn't even trick Jabba the Hutt with a Jedi mind trick. If Snoke was all that powerful, why in the world did he fall for a Jedi mind trick?
Yeah, you can't tell me that he didn't see that lightsaber sitting right beside him.
Well, and here's the thing. What did Obi-Wan tell Luke in A New Hope when they were in the speeder going into, just before they go into the cantina? They get stopped by stormtroopers, and Obi-Wan says, these are not the droids you're looking for.
These are not the droids you're looking
and then he
for.
tells Luke, he says, this will only work on the weak-minded. So you're telling me Snoke is weak-minded and he gets killed in the second act?
Essentially, they just made Snoke just a completely wimpy,
a plot device,
weak character, and that just went against everything that was set up and all of the speculation that has been going on for the past 2 years.
And we really want to know where Snoke came from, how he became so powerful in the Force, and all of that's gone now.
And it doesn't matter now. It's like, who cares?
Then we take the next build-up, which is Rey's lineage. Her parents. Okay, I can understand them saying, well, they were of no consequence. I can understand that because that really makes Rey special. But it's the way they went about it. And to make them alcoholic junk traders that sold her into slavery, to us here in the South, that's the same thing as calling her trailer trash. I mean, she's a Mary Sue. And just another plot device. So you've taken a main character and her entire history is now just a plot device. So what this leaves us with, you've got the lightsaber, Snoke, her lineage. Then you've got Finn, who goes, and you have an introduction of a new character, which is great. Rose is a great character. But you send these two to go look for this guy that Maz Kanata says, you need to go find this guy because he could break codes. They go on this outrageous mission.
It was filler.
Filler.
It was just filler.
It was 30 minutes, and what did you get out of it? You got one, cruelty to animals, so I'm sure that was a whole big thing.
Come on, Peter, let's stand up.
Then there's the second one is what everybody's calling the Broom Kid, which is a young Force user who picks up the broom using the Force, and he wears the ring of the Resistance towards the end. So, yeah, I mean...
But then Rose just dies at the end.
I don't think she dies. I think she's seriously hurt, but it does show a relationship between her and Finn. I understand that. Then you've got Del Toro's character. I was hoping Del Toro would be much more significant than what he was. Big talk about what his role was. He ended up being a stuttering thief that betrayed him the first instance, and for me, that character was not likable at all. So, okay, it is a character. One thing I was really hoping that we were disappointed with Force Awakens was Phasma. They would get a lot more Phasma. We'd get this great battle going on. You know,
she falls into a pit of fire. Really? You couldn't come up with...
And where was the lightsaber battle? You could not tell me that lightsaber battle between Kylo and Luke at the end was anything near even the Phantom Menace. The Sith Lord. Yeah, if you look at Darth Maul.
Darth Maul, that's right, Darth Maul.
But
just a fan, not super fan.
We were looking at it as just the best lightsaber battle for all of them, as far as I'm concerned, is from Revenge of the Sith when Obi-Wan and Anakin went at each other. But there was nothing really to speak of in this movie as far as a lightsaber battle.
No, there wasn't.
And to me, what's ended up happening?
Wait, before you go into if you don't mind.
Okay.
There were two other things that bothered me to no end. No end. The first is Rey. How old is she? 20s? All of a sudden, she is fighting with a lightsaber. She's using the Force. What training did she have? Luke said to her, finally, after she had laid out in front of his door for, days and days and days on end, he finally says, okay, I have 3 things to teach you. Really? 3 things. And all of a sudden, she is able to fight, Kylo, that's who I was trying to think of.
And she was able to help fight the Knights.
Yeah, and doing all this, Jedi stuff. what happened to you have, they Yoda, my favorite character is Yoda. Yoda told Obi-Wan that Luke was too old to be trained. And Luke was younger than Rey when he started his training. So where did her training come from?
Yeah.
Who trained her? Except for a couple of days on this island with Luke.
Yeah, and that leads into
what the heck?
That leads into the other speculation that we had, because that was a big question after The Force Awakens, because we were thinking that her lineage, her parents,
right.
She was originally a youngling at Luke's temple.
No, but she's just trailer trash. She just trailer trash, darling.
So, okay, so she has a good point. And then finally, all of these little things that did not make sense. We talked about Snoke.
Oh, I have one more thing I'm really pissed off about, if you don't mind.
Go right ahead.
I mentioned Yoda is my favorite character. I loved Yoda. I've always loved Yoda. I've loved the little I'm a little compact person myself. Little compact package with great, great powers. Loves the Jedi. He's been around the Jedi for over 800 years. Burns the books and the tree. Explain to me why. Why did he do that? Why would he just all of a sudden burn it?
Yeah.
And there was no explanation to that. Not that it can't come later. It's going to have to come later. Because to me, that's a huge question.
I don't think it will, to be honest. I think
it
was
just a side note to just I think it was their way of just getting rid of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And just the Jedi doesn't, scratch it and start all over. It doesn't matter.
So that was kind of out of character for Yoda.
That was extremely, no, that was extremely, no. Yoda would not do that. I'm sorry. Take that out of the film right now, because Yoda would not do that. That Yoda spent 800 years of his life protecting that tree and protecting what's in those books. He's not just going to come back to Luke after however long it's been since Yoda's been gone. And
30 years.
Yeah, I was going to say 20, 30 years. And say, let's just, Luke tried to burn it and didn't.
Because he couldn't bring himself
He couldn't bring himself to doing it. And Luke's only been a Jedi for 30 years or 40 years.
Yeah.
And then Yoda just comes in and goes, Psst! And the tree's on fire and the books are gone, and no emotion from Yoda. He just sat there like,
Well, he did say this. He says, Luke says, but those are the scriptures, and he says, read it, have you? Page turners, they are not. So
he's making fun of them.
Yeah. So here we have a character that is basically taken something of faith, and it's a Jedi faith, if you want it, whatever you want to call it, and the scriptures for that faith, and then after so much time, they don't make any difference any longer. And I can understand where they wanted to go with this. They just didn't execute it very well. But my point for all of this is they've left Episode 8 in a situation where I don't see where they can go. Kelly was right. Rey's had no real training. We saw from the prequels that Jedi start from very young ages.
4.
And they go through all of this intense training. They have to go through trials to become masters.
They leave their homes, their families, to go live in the temple.
Yeah, and
to train daily.
And then they have to go through trials to become masters. Even Luke had his trial. Now, you could say Rey's trial, it was a trial with Snoke. Okay, I'll give you that. But
well, she killed him.
Well, no, she didn't. Kylo did.
She kept Snoke's attention.
At any rate. So, yeah, you can go into all kinds of speculation.
Even Anakin had trials.
Yeah. So you could go into all kinds of speculation as to what direction they're taking us. But from a filmmaker's point of view, everything that happened in 8 destroyed what happened in 7, just about it, and has left the storyline it's very confused and not very many places to go. Because here, the only thing that they could have now is Kylo becoming, of course, he's become the head or the Supreme Master or leader.
But even then, he hasn't finished his training.
Well,
no, he didn't have control of his emotions.
True.
He did not. He had emotions for for Rey. He had emotions for his mother on the ship. He had emotions against the general guy, yeah, that he could not control yet.
True.
He was not a master.
True. I agree with that.
And that point where he showed his dominance on that monkey walker thing.
Actually, they were in the big shuttle, the big ship.
The shuttle. Okay, yeah, you're right, behind it.
Yeah.
And the general is talking to him and saying, which general, yeah, but a general would not be doing that to the supreme leader, sorry, not the way he was. Again, at least talk to some military people on how people act in the military. But, and Kylo just does... And he goes flying up against the wall. And what did you say it reminded you of?
Jumanji.
The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock is Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, where they were doing the slap contest, and Dwayne Johnson slaps the other guy so hard that he slams up against a cliff. So, yeah.
Anyway, I digress.
There were a lot of problems with this movie. For me, what it was is that they focused the storyline down to 2 characters. Kylo, who is now the Supreme Leader, like Kelly said, it doesn't have control of his emotions, isn't really a master. And Rey, to start the Jedi Order again,
who has trash.
And has no training whatsoever. Yeah, they're both Force users. They're both very powerful in the Force. But from a storyline perspective, you don't have much to go with now. There is no build up. There will be very little speculation going into 9, because we know that with the late Carrie Fisher that Leia is not going to be in 9. You've got Poe, who will probably be the leader of the Resistance, but you don't. There's not much left. I mean, all this build up from 7 to really expand upon in 8 to move into the climax in 9. 8 just destroyed all of it, and now there's nowhere to go.
I think, for me personally, that 8 did a huge disservice to every other Star Wars movie that has come before it. Okay. I think it did a huge disservice to every actor that has been in any of the Star Wars who have passed on, especially like Carrie Fisher and Kenny Baker. Let's mention R2-D2, who was supposed to come back when Luke awakened and came back, who essentially became a trash can on the Millennium Falcon. Piss me off.
Yep.
I mean, seriously. So it did a disservice to every boom operator, every editor, every musician, every director that has come before, every producer has done a huge disservice to all of them. Yeah, I'm mad. We have finally gotten to the point where we weren't confused anymore. We sat down, we thought about it, and talked it out. And I don't know about Jonathan, but I'm just mad about what they did to it. I really am, and I'm hurt.
Yeah.
I know it's just a movie, y'all. Ultimately, in the end, there's world hunger, there's fighting, really. There's power plays, really. This is just a movie, but we go to movies to escape. We go to movies to see a different world. We go to movies to be entertained and to fall in love with characters. And over the past 40 years, millions of people have fallen in love with Star Wars and Star Wars characters. And really, again, it was just the big middle finger to all of us who really care. My opinion. My opinion only.
All right. Well, now you know how we feel.
Do you feel that way? I mean, I kind of cut you off, but...
I am very disappointed in 8. I think basically this particular episode has ruined a very promising storyline, because it could have really expanded the universe and really gone into many different levels. I'd have learned to, I would love to have learned a lot more about Snoke and seeing him being even more powerful and seeing where this does take Rey, that her lineage actually does matter. Again, here at Craving Cinematics, we're all about family anyway. Where you're from is just as important as where you're going.
Not the people that are, quote, I don't want to say trailer trash.
No, well, they were drunk junk dealers.
Yeah.
That ended up in unmarked graves on Jakku. So that was, anyway, that's just our feelings on it. We'd love to hear your feelings on it.
One more thing. Since I'm holding a Hedwig mug, drinking my Earl Grey tea, the Harry Potter references, just don't. No. Didn't work. Carrie Fisher flying through the air, no.
Well, she wasn't flying through the air. She was in space.
No. Didn't work. Enough said.
All right. Anyway, let us know how you feel about this. If you've seen the movie, and hopefully you have, because this is a spoiler review, just leave a comment below. Let us know. If you love the movie, great. These are just our opinions. We want to know why you loved it so much. And if you didn't, why didn't you like it? Did you agree with us, or did you see something else that you didn't agree with? So on that note, I think we're on the same page.
I need to go eat some chocolate or something to make myself happy again.
All right. Well, I'm Donathan.
And I'm Kelly.
And we are Craving Cinematics.